Hey. How's everyone doing? We're going to be working today. I announced this a couple days ago, but we're going through with it. So, we have a lot of sprite work done. We have all the music done. I did all the coding. I did some things that would take away from some of the, I guess, less interesting parts of development yesterday. But we are basically working from a blank slate. None of the actual game design part stuff is done. There's a few more things I found at last second I forgot to organize. But I'll do them a little bit later because they're not very crucial to do this very second. Yeah. So, what is this? What are we up to? We're working on Not Your Eyes, which, as the name may imply, does have some sort of connection to Close Your Eyes, but I've made it so it's a lot more disconnected than some of the other starting points, and can just be played as its own thing. There's only one character that's shared between the two, the places are very different, and the stories are very different. This stream will include spoilers for Not Your Eyes. It's a game which I'm hoping to release between December 18th to December 22nd. If it can also happen on that day on Steam, that'd be great, but to do that I sort of need to make sure I get some screenshots of the game ready within the next few days, because then I have to go through the whole long review process. We'll see what happens. The game is about Goral. I almost said fuck. It's about a girl named Cornelia, and she suffers from Charles Bonnet syndrome. Charles Bonnet syndrome is a kind of rare, but not too rare condition when you start losing your eyesight. Yeah, it's not a mental disorder or anything of the sort. It's just a purely physical one, though the exact specifics of why this happens is very misunderstood and not very well understood at this point in time. Basically, the gist of what scientists know about it is that when somebody starts losing their eyesight, the connection between the brain and their eyes makes them stir up strange hallucinations. Real world examples of things that people see is that somebody might start seeing a bunch of the same person all over the place, though they're not really there, obviously. Or somebody might start seeing insects and stuff in their food, which is not really there, and other such things. And some are more vivid than others. The case that we're dealing with in this game is unheard of, and that'll even be established there. Though the hallucinations seem very real, it's its own thing. It's not a mental thing. It's something which is still not very clearly understood about the connection between the eyes and the brain. And when you start losing your eyesight, because this only occurs to someone who is starting to basically completely lose their eyesight, before they lose their eyesight, they start seeing very strange hallucinations. All the same. That's part of the reason why I decided to tackle that specifically, is I think there's a lot. Well, hallucinations in themselves are interesting, and I've experienced hallucinations a few times in my own life, not from anything. The times I got hallucinations were times that I would sensibly get hallucinations, such as one time I was extremely jet lagged after a plane flight. I'd flown on planes before across the world, but for some reason this was the first time I got severely jet lagged, and I did not sleep for 3 days. And after not sleeping for 3 days, I looked down at the ground, and what I perceived was there was a giant hole that opened up between the cracks in the floorboards below, and it looked like a giant hairy caterpillar crawled out between the floorboards and then scampered underneath my wardrobe. And I thought to myself then, I need to go the fuck to sleep. So I was going to say, the other time was when I was I would say it's the most sick I've been in theory, but it's not the worst I felt feeling sick. It was probably the second worst. I got a dangerously high temperature. It was near dangerous levels, like levels that can cause brain damage. Thankfully, I did not cross over that threshold, but I got dangerously close. And I just had this moment of laying there in bed, feeling like shit. It was completely dark, and I was trying to sleep, but I couldn't. I was burning up. And you know those, I forget what they're called exactly, but the colors that you see on your eyes and all that sometimes. In my mind's eye, I saw all the colors take over completely my vision, and I went into this really strong neon green river and Amazon forest type things where there were these weird cube things floating and these squiggly people running across the riverside. And I fell off the bed when I was trying to figure out what was going on because I was extremely out of it. Again, my temperature I was at delirious levels. I was super sick then, and I had a dangerously high temperature. But those are two of the more severe hallucination cases I've had. I don't suffer from hallucinations in a typical life, but those are the closest to my own personal experiences. Though I do have friends who suffer from them a bit more regularly and for other reasons. That said, one of the things I want to avoid very severely is misrepresenting mental health concerns, because I think that one of the issues that horror games run into is that they're just fascinated with the ideas of a thing and they don't represent it very well. So because I wanted to tackle the idea of hallucinations, I was very, very set on trying to find something which was not connected to mental disorders or mental health in any way, which, yeah, there's that. On top of that, I'm very happy with the story which I've crafted for this game. It still needs to become a reality, obviously. The game doesn't exist till the game exists, but hey, it's what we're going to be working on. I'm not going to be streaming this every day or something. I'll probably do development when I'm off stream sometimes too. Development's been going well in general on a few things, but I'll be focusing on this. I'm very, very determined to get this done before December is up. My goal is between the 18th or the 22nd if the Steam release gets pushed back. I don't want to release it like on Christmas, but I guess we'll fucking see what happens. All the same. We're going to get started. Pretty much immediately. Most of the music I'll be playing during the stream are from this project, or were for this project and weren't used in the end. I'm developing this somewhat in the same way which I've developed Close Your Eyes and Girls Graveyard, which those were games I kind of knew where the story was going, and I had specific story moments in my head, but I didn't have every single detail figured out, so I kept it a little bit open. Like, I guess I knew where I was going, but I didn't fully know the journey of how to get there, if that makes any sense. Alright. With that said, also another thing which is similar to Close Your Eyes, one of the main motifs of Close Your Eyes, like one of the ideas that propelled it going forward, is I wanted it to be a game where the player knew right from the get-go that you're a murderer. And then we go deeper into the reason of why they're a murderer, who our protagonist is, what's going on exactly here. But I wanted to make sure that the fact that they were a murderer, like, because there's a lot of things where, oh, you were a murderer all along, is like a twist in the horror work, or there's other things which is similar to, oh, you're a murderer, but you didn't really murder people, there was some extravagant story behind it. Yes, there is reasonings why people kill people, but I wanted to set in stone that what the character did was unforgivable, and that they had murdered people from the outset, and that wasn't a hidden fact or a twist or anything. It was just laid out bare from the get-go. Similarly to this, I want to make sure right from the get-go it's established that we know, our character knows, and the audience knows that we are not a reliable narrator. Our character has seen stuff which is not real, and they know it's not real, and we know it's not real, and then explore it from there. Now, I also need to clarify one thing. Part of the game design decisions I'm doing with this particular project is our character only suffers from visual hallucinations, not auditory hallucinations. Auditory hallucinations is something which Charles Bonnet syndrome does not cover. It does cover visual hallucinations, and to play into that, one aspect of the game that we're going to be exploring is that one way to tell what may be fully hallucination or what may be us seeing something that's there but isn't how we're seeing it is based entirely on audio. So audio design will be a very important part of this game. I hope I explained myself pretty well. And yep, it is Kat's birthday, so I hope you enjoy yourself there, Grayson. I'm going to get working as I go. Alright, I'm going to turn the screen on now officially. Hello screen, we got an empty map to start off with. Voila. And I guess I should also kick some music on. I'm just going to go into our soundtrack. I'm going to play every single song, and that should also work as an unofficial OST test. So I'll put every song onto the menu. We have the whole entire OST done already, so... Alright, that should work out fine for us. I'll turn the music down a little bit because it's probably a little bit loud for you guys, and probably a little bit loud for me. Voila, tone down, tone down. Yeah, don't worry, changed it up. I figured it was probably pretty loud. Alright, now I do kind of know how the opening works. In fact, even though I just put all this music into the system, I should mention I worked very briefly on making an animated cutscene open up the game last night. We're very, very early in this project, though. Outside of having all the sprite work, not all the sprite work, we have like 85% of the sprite work done. We have all the music finished, most of the sound effects. I will be doing some voice acting, and I have a little bit of art done for a few scenes of the game, but yeah. There's a bug sometimes. This won't happen when it launches the game, but there's a bug that sometimes happens when I'm in playtesting. It's involving the RPG Maker version, not using the latest nw.js version, as you can see the profile area here. This actually won't happen when it's launched as a game, but it's because I want this game to have Steam achievements. So it's right now trying to look for the newest version of nw.js, which isn't in RPG Maker, but they'll be when I export the project. So sometimes there might be a little freeze issue when I first load up the game, and that's not going to be present in the final game or the published game. When I replace the files with nw.js files, it's only going to be present sometimes in playtesting, but it's a very minor bug. Yeah, I want this game to have little achievements. Yeah, they're red roses. Still have many stuff to set up, though. And I kind of know I want this opening scene to play out, though. I should choose black to fill in the color just for the fade in at the very beginning. And this scene, should I design the psychologist? The game starts off with us in a very strange therapy session, I guess you could say. Let's say this for the beginning. And this isn't going to be the same map as I do for the psychiatrist office, which we'll get to momentarily. For the moment, though, I guess I'll just start off with the cutscene itself, which actually means I should probably switch over to the song which I'm planning to use for the opening. Just get in the right mindset, which is this song. I'll put this on loop for a bit as we get through this stuff. Okay. Wait a simple 15 frames. Going to show a picture, but I'm probably going to have to change its positioning for a bit. So I need to think about how this is going to be played out. Show picture, image. I don't want to show one of the spoilery images. Give me a second, I need to remember what I named everything. Even though this stream will have spoilers, I don't want to open up entirely with spoilers. So, hip. Okay, so it's that one. Got it. Now, where this one will be placed, I believe if I say center, it doesn't center correctly. I'm going to do this as a quick test, but I'm 90% sure that's not going to come into play as I'm hoping it does. I'll show a text box just to make sure it's all established from there. My. I hope you enjoyed my mouth as a hole of dirt. Let's see how this plays out for a second. We're just at the very start of this particular project. We're going to run into that a few times because then w.js issue, but that's okay. We'll be saying this a few times to get the first save point ready. I could disable it, but I don't mind saying through it briefly. I'm happy you enjoyed it. Yee. Hello there, Nihil. So I bet this picture doesn't display correctly, because it completely did not. We are actually looking at the picture, I can tell that, and then the movie plays again. It's because it's showing from the center weirdly. So I guess the only way to do this is to show it from the left and then figure out the exact coordinates. This is going to take a few efforts. I'm going to disable the movie temporarily, but it will be coming back. Put this here, make it some bullshit switch, I don't know, like timer at the moment. There will not be a skip option, but it's partially because it takes a surprising amount of work to code that in, and then people also may accidentally skip it, because then you don't want them to skip the first time, because they might be confused and press something, and then skip without meaning to. Also, the cutscene's only 20 seconds long, and it only plays at the opening, so it's like, whatever. If it was longer, I'd think about it, but it's literally only like a 20-second long cutscene. Oh my. I hope that they enjoy Feast Your Eyes. Hello there, MB. So let's see. Lining this up correctly. This is... Let me try a bullshit number. Let's say I want it to be by like 500. 500 by 500. Let's see what we're looking at. This will probably help me figure out where to place it anyways, so... Am I fading the screen correctly? Oh wait, I'm stupid. It's supposed to be the fade in screen command, not the fade out screen command. Well, let's see what we end up looking at. Actually, maybe because it didn't load in correctly. I think the center isn't what I'm looking for, but let's see what we're looking at when we do that. Put that to 0, put that to 0. Let's see what we're seeing. Options. I mean, that is a good look at your eye. I guess that's kind of close to where I want the vision to begin with. Should I zoom it out a little bit more? Yep. Also, the song needs to start playing after the video. Wait 15 seconds to play the BGM. This is With Me, which is actually the last song on the list. That's kind of funny. Let's see. With Me. The song's going to be stuck in my head before we even get through this sequence. Alright, so the show picture, I always forget how the commands work. I know that Y and X work in opposite ways, so that Y is like negatives go up and positives go down, while X is positives go up and negatives go down. I think the X or the Y axis is mostly what I'd like it to be, and it's the X axis that needs to change a little bit. If I set this to 500, how does it differ? Big ol' stare down. Part of the fun of it. I mean, I was a little bit close. 250, and let's also... I'm gonna start off with a... Yeah, let's first see where we're at 250 before I start doing the thing which I actually want to do with this scene. YouTube emotes are cursed. No, the picture's big. That's actually slightly intentional. That's almost where I'd like it to be placed. I'll get to where I want the opening of the scene to be in just a second. Let's try 300 and see if that's placed more centeredly. I want it to be centered before I start doing what I want to do with it. Just I need it to be in like the general right place. So that's closer. It just needs a little bit more. Is it like 350? Let's see. Getting closer to the centeredness I want to achieve. I could mathematically have done this with the core image, but I like figuring it out in the mean. That is near exactly what I want it to be. That's probably as perfect as I'm going to get it. Okay. So now put the song on, and now time to do something a little bit repetitive. Just a little bit. So this is going to start off with like 300 zoom. My. I'm happy that there's somewhere in between cute and creepy. Ah, yes. The beautiful view. Okay, what if I go for 500 for the beginning? I don't know why we're in the forehead. We're in. Roll with it. Okay, so I need to actually change the y-axis just a little bit. Okay, how about negative 100? Where do we start with that? Now that shows us more of the forehead, so it is like the weird backwards thing I'm remembering. Alright, how about 150? Right, positives go down, negatives go up with Y. I remember that now. My. Girls a lot of fun. Now we're really deep in the hair. Okay, how about negative 250? We're starting up close, but we don't want to be in the hair. We're almost out of there, out of that hairy situation. Let's put this there. How about just straight up 500? That seems a little bit much for me, but I might have to lower as we're doing the zoom in, zoom out thing. That might be okay if I go for a little bit more zoom. You might be wondering, Ryan, what the fuck are you doing? But trust me, I've had this in my head of how I wanted this to start off all along. Almost there. We've almost achieved perfection. Will 750 be it? 750 what I'm looking for? This is going to be quite a weird setup. Yeah, we're going to do a zoom out, basically. Oh, it's so close to being right. Okay, X, 350 seems right generally, but for the moment, what if I just scoot you a little bit more over there? Where are we end up looking at? Come on, hair, get out of there! Okay, what if I do something extreme like 600? Where are we going to be placed now? I remember it's 350. I'm keeping the numbers in my head. Well, that put us more in the hair zone. Okay, what if I did 200? Yep. And that was a little bit too far. We went too far and got to the other side. Okay. 260. Almost. Actually, I think it would be fine if I lower the Y a little bit. What if I went to the Y and did it to like 600 at this point, and then changed this to like 250, and changed the zoom to fucking 800. We're gonna be starting with quite a weird opening at this point. Yeah. That's part of the fun of making games. There we go. That's good enough for me. There's a little bit of hair up there, but I don't think people will notice enough to really matter, especially since how this is going to play out. Now it's time for a bunch of commands. Time for me to copy and paste wait 2 frames a bunch of times. Now there's actually plugins to make this easier, but who needs easier when you've got wait frames? Okay. Now I actually need to test one thing. With my current positions, once I put it to 100%, where are we looking? This is for science. Well, thank you there, Miyoko. Okay, so yeah, the positioning is totally borked, and I'm gonna have to change it when we start doing the zoom out. But thankfully I've got enough steps to make that change. That's pretty much what I expected. So this needs to be 350, and this is going to end up needing to be like 0, right? This is just me making sure that what I'm working towards is the right goal. There, Fox, sometimes game development is repetition. I want it to be zoomed out a little bit more than that, so let's see what the end result's going to be, because that's correct for a certain step. This is going to be down here somewhere, but I'm actually going to have to zoom out more than that. Will it be like that at 50? Let's see. Options. So it's not going to move for a second. Oh. Not quite. The Y needs to go down. So when this happens, the Y needs to be something like 500. Let's see what that looks like. So we're going to have to wait a few moments just for it to pop up. That was too far. We went too far! So then, would it be like 350? Is it literally 350 by 350? That'd be amusing, but let's see what we got. I can't believe you're from a place on Earth too. Well, how much else do we have in common? It's still a little bit too far, but closer. Alright, so down here... change this to Y. Let's do 260 and see what we're looking at. Hey! That's pretty much what I wanted it to be. So yeah, sure, we got the final coordinates I'm working towards. So that's the final one. Now it's time for us to get to these points. So I need to get from 250 to 0 first. And 800%. Time for a lot of repetition. I'm sorry about the repetition you guys are about to experience. But trust me, it's important. Since we start from 800%. Oh no. So I'm going to do this in 100 steps. Now let me calculate this for a second. 2 frames with 100 steps would mean 200. Maybe I should do it by 4s? 2s and 4s. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So that means this is going to become 52. And where's the Y at? The Y here is at 0, right? So the Y is at 0, which means the Y change is going to be pretty dramatic each time. So do the Y and 50 would probably be from, yeah, I guess it would be from 6s? No, 6s would be 100, so it needs to be from 12s. That's such a weird number, and I could do the math for it easily, but I'm just going to do me lazy. I'm going to do the math like this. 600 subtract 12 equals 588. So this is 588. And then from percentage, since we're doing it from 400, alright, so I'm going to need fucking 2 calculators over here. 800, and then divide that there. That's pretty much what I expected. So 800 subtract 16 each time. 784. I just fucking did that as an extreme number. 784 by 784. And this is going to be kind of repetitive, but it needs to be done for the greater good. You can see the calculator stuff over here because I'm about to mash these a lot. I'm just getting things in position because I have to do repetitive actions just for a little bit. No, this is not my first game. Let me do some shameless plugging. Hey, you can check out all of my games, well, not all of my games, but most of my games over on Steam. This is My Holes and Mouth of Dirt, which is one of the few games I put together. Look at all that fun stuff. You can find all my games under the Yai Gameworks developer. Currently, the Steam sale just ended, but there'll be another one later this month, and everything will be the same price they were. You can find a link to all of them there. Though there's also free games, which you can find here. There you go. My most recently released game, though I still need to finish up Act 3 on it, was Feast Your Eyes, which you can see here. And now there we go. That's part of the fun of it. Now then, back to this. The very exciting act of clicking this over and over again. So subtract 12, this gets to 76, and this gets to 54, and these get to 68. This is gonna look pretty extreme, actually. Alright. And then this is gonna get to 64. And this is gonna get to 56. And this is gonna get to 52. But that gets copied twice, as that's also gonna go here. And we're gonna be doing this for a little bit, so get ready. Strap in, folks. Do you guys want to talk about anything as we do this fun bit? And that's going to be 36. I'm going to make sure the first few steps are working as intended before I start doing all of it, only to find out that I messed up somewhere along the way. So I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to sort of put it there together. It's a little bit cursed, I'm not going to lie. Alright, 60. This goes down to 40. I just finished a 14-page paper. Congrats! That's not bad work at all. Oh. Pog has definitely regained traction recently. I wonder why, PogChamps. Well, yeah, what was the paper on? Business. That makes sense. I need to eat something. You do need to eat something today. I was wondering what motivates you to tackle this kind of slow development endeavor. I started making games when I was 10 years old. And I just did it for fun. I made it like a Sonic fan game that was stupidly long. I never released it, and it wasn't very good, but I enjoyed making it. I've always liked games. Didn't always play games. My parents didn't actually allow me to play games until I was like 8, and it wasn't that they allowed me to play games. My grandmother saw my interest in games from friends, and she gave me some stuff, and my dad and my mom couldn't say no to my grandmother, so... Here was the concern. This isn't fading out correctly. Or did it do it for like a couple and then change? Something happened bizarrely there. Was it like working at the beginning? I just didn't fully see it. I am currently 29. But yeah. Rolls as it goes. So something did not work there. Let me do one more step and then I'm going to sort of do it a little bit slower just to observe what went down. So around 20. Yeah. Check this there. You yunyons and your love of the boomers. I like how mine says that people just grow into boomers when they're older as opposed to it being like an age gap thing. But hey, it is what it is. Six. The reason I'm slowing it down is to see if it has like a difference in development slower at the very beginning, is maybe it just fades in a little bit too slow for me to see the change. Yeah, okay, so it is fading out correctly. Just I need to see it in motion there a little bit slower. Oh my. I mean, if you're older than me, that's fine. The internet has all sorts of people on it. Check this there. 28 to 16. It's okay to bring up stuff that's off topic. It's not like I'm like, how dare you get off my very serious repetitive actions I'm doing. Aye. Oh, they got you into Red Haze. The game will be officially completed next February. Now I need to check with Denuda and Serene to see if they can voice it. If they don't voice it, I'll release the update, but I'll see when they can voice it. But regardless, my goal is to release the entire update. My current schedule, release what I'm working on right now before December is up, and then in January and the beginning of February, finish up Red Haze. So now you know. I had a poll about what game that I currently had like unfinished that people wanted me to finish, and Red Haze was the winner, so I'm doing Red Haze first. I need to check up on them. It's going A-okay there, David. Let's see, 64 down. Put this to 66. All these are correct so far. Yes, they are. After 16, you get to go 04. And after 04, we gotta go down to 72. Look at them go. Honestly, I should have just fucking got a plugin to do this easier. I know that there's a plugin that can automatically scale this over a period of time. I'm doing this the hard way. But gosh darn it, I don't want to use them gosh darn plugins. Gotta do it with good old-fashioned hard keyboard tapping. 56 there. Okay. My. That goes up to 70. And this goes down to 80. And that's alright, because over here we're going to an exciting 640. That was an old resolution that was basic for most computer systems for like the 90s, early 2000s maybe. It doesn't by default, though you can do it through plugin stuff. You have to manually put in the numbers. But there are plugins to make it easier. I just didn't want to credit another plugin. So I was like, I'm going to do it myself, the good old-fashioned way, through number crunching. Maybe that's changed in MZ, which I don't know. It says that, by the way, it says that we're currently developing this in MZ. We're not. It's just there's not an MV category, and I don't want to put the original RPG Maker from 1997 or whatever. So, but we're working in MV at the moment. If you're curious what version of RPG Maker it is that you're looking at. If they fix that with MZ, then that's another plus for it once it fixes out some of its little like bugs. Or MZ or MV had bugs when it first released as well. Most of them have been fixed. I am terrible with favorites. I've played a bunch of horror games over the years though. I think that there's a lot of interesting experiences you can have, and I need to play more Semdai in the future. I guess, yeah, if anyone else has answers to their question, feel free to answer. 44. Look at us get into place. I mean, we're already down 200% from where we started, from the 800% zoom in. We're a little bit more than a fourth of the way done. How exciting is that? I'm trying to think of a story that might be interesting to share as I'm doing this. Let's see. Sometimes you just gotta do the repetitive work. I also can re-put this in. I'm gonna remove this and put this here. Final Fantasy XIV. I'm not sure that's would be considered a horror game by many, but you know. Also, I've got apple juice here, which I love apple juice, so. Oh, good. In this world, so there's too much good horror out there. There's also bad horror, but there's also bad horror that's enjoyable, so you know. I would say You and Me and Her is horror enough to be considered, if that's a favorite of yours. Lay, I was reminded of Creepypasta Land earlier today due to a comment I got, and that's one of my least favorite things I've ever played. As, again, if I ever go deaf from playing that game, Cry Fury and Among Others. Well, Among Others isn't the game, but I know what you meant. The first horror game that got me into the genre was Resident Evil 4. I used to be a scaredy cat, but a lot of that game was getting a lot of praise back in the day. And I just eventually got so curious because of all the praise it was receiving and decided to try it. I absolutely loved it. I then tried Remake, which is the remake of the first Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 0, because they're both on the GameCube. And I've been playing them ever since then. Yeah. I'm not Resident Evil 4 is among my favorites, so I'm not sure I'd say it's my absolute favorite. I like Silent Hill 3 a lot. Let's see. The sound's gonna be entranced into my brain. It's gonna find a place in my heart and my skull. Yee. That's fine. People like what they like. I enjoy the franchise. But I will say this, I have a very, very broad taste in horror. I find a lot of people are a bit pickier when it comes to it. Like, oh, I like this type of horror, but I don't like this type of horror. And I'm not going to say I have none of that. It's just I find I'm a lot more open-minded to different types of horrors than I am to like a singular type. Let's see. We're almost halfway there. Chin up. The repetition will pay off and we'll get a very pretty looking opening. Well, not pretty. It'll be serviceable if anything. But hey, I also need to see how this like scales to the music for a second. I might pause and just see where current progress is at momentarily, but we'll find out. We shall find out. That's, if anything, we're definitely gonna find out. 48, and then 64 by 64. I worked hard and I don't care. Put this into a 44. 336 and 48. At this point in time, I've played every Resident Evil game except the 2 Outbreak games, mainly because I want to play them online at some point blind, but I need to actually take the time to set that up. And Conrad, if you're here, I know you're hearing me. And also, I need to play the second Gun Survivor game. There's a few I want to replay, like I've only played the Chronicles titles once each, and it was many years ago. But it's the 25th series anniversary next year, so that might be a good time to go through all of them again. I see. There are different types of horror. I also will say this. I don't find most of the mainstream horror games that scary. Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Fatal Frame don't scare me that much. I'm not trying to say they've never scared me, because they have. But it's more like there's just occasional moments that get to me, more than they have like... I think here's my issue with all 3. Resident Evil is too actiony for it to be scary a lot of the time. Silent Hill is too artistry, like it's too artistic for me to find it scary. I find it more like an interesting horror art house, if that makes any sense, but I enjoy it. I'm saying with Resident Evil. And Fatal Frame, the combat is too fun for me to find it scary. So when a ghost pops up, I'm not like, ooh, a ghost. I'm like, oh yeah, let's get some good shots so I can raise up my points so I can get more unlockables. But I enjoy all 3. I don't want them to change. It's just I've never personally really found Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Fatal Frame that scary, but I found them all very enjoyable, and they do a lot more than what I'm just saying, and there's specific moments that get to me in all 3 of them. But if I'm going to be frankly honest, I never really found Resident Evil, Fatal Frame, or Silent Hill all that scary. But enjoyable. They all each have separate, enjoyable elements, I would say. My. And even though I say they're not scary, for me, being scary isn't the end-all of horror. I think that you can tell who's really into horror and who's not based on if they say how important being scary is to a horror game. Because, frankly, you get less scared the more exposure you have to more horror games, and different people find different things scary. Scariness is highly subjective, but there's ways to make incredibly good horror experiences, even if you don't personally find it that scary. Because scariness is not the end-all of horror, actually. Still though. Yee. It's also a thing where like there's very specific things. Like you can make a game that would be very scary to a person with a specific type of fear, but then that fear isn't a universal fear. It's only very specific to a subset of people that find that very specific thing scary. And so their experience with the game would be different than someone else's experience. It's just a whole big old level of subjectivity. I am happy I can still be scared. But let me also say this. Some of the scariest games I've played are games I wouldn't really recommend people to play, because I think that to make good horror, if something's just scary, I think it's not that enjoyable, actually. I've had this discussion with my brother, in that there's like a level of fear they want to achieve. I've played things which I could say are scary, but they're not very fun, and they're not very enjoyable experiences, and literally all that they accomplish being is scary, if that makes sense. But scary by itself with like nothing else usually isn't a very fulfilling experience. Anyways, put that there. And put this up to 16. I think there's a lot of things that a horror game can do to be successful in whatever it's trying to achieve. Again, even though I don't find Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Fatal Frame that scary, I find all three series very enjoyable. And I'm happy all three exist and as they do, and they've been inspiring to me and many, many others. Not even just inspiring, they've been good experiences to have. Let's see. I used to be a scaredy cat, so deep down within myself there's a scaredy cat. But I'm happy that I have it because I can still be scared by things. And I think that's a good thing. Let's pause up. I think the Resident Evil 7 is the scariest boss battle in the franchise. Scary is too strong of a word, maybe, but it's extremely tense, which is against Marguerite, so... I'm happy that the scare and attendant and found Torg 11.x got to you there, Lay. It goes out quickly. The cut to her face. Hey there, V-Lasty. Alright, still more of this to do. I might slow it down a little bit, only because currently it goes a little bit fast from the face. But hey, that's also fine in many ways. 288 to 384. You know, I'm going to do this very, very briefly. I'm going to change these to 3, and I'm going to see if the timing doesn't seem too spaced for me, just to slow it down a little bit. I accidentally got rid of the fade in screen, but that's okay. Fade in. Apply okay, let's see if that speed seems okay. Do what fast? Yeah. My horror game totals over 1,000 at this point, but that also includes like a lot of very short experiences. Horror movies I don't even know, I haven't kept count. I have marathons sometimes where I watch like a dozen horror movies in a day. So they must be semi-high, because I've done that several times. Well, everyone knows my old hush mushes I used to hold all the time. But yeah, I don't actually know the number though. Yeah, it's a little bit better. It's a little bit clunkier, but it works out okay. Okay. I actually need to update the ones below as well, but give me a second. I'm going to do this last one here. And then I'm going to go do the ones coming up. 76. 68. I have seen Cube, and Cube 2, and the Cube prequel. I think the sequel is called Cube Squared, which I thought was pretty clever. Da-da. Fill this up. I did not save the account setting them up because I was too young at the time. With that, I used to not be very scared of horror. In fact, Cube was one of the earlier horror films I saw, strangely enough. It was like, not the first I saw, but it was like probably in the first 20 horror movies, the original Cube. Strangely, I don't have nostalgia for it, but I did enjoy it. Yeah. Do many people hate them? I don't think that's true. There's actually been a few Cube-inspired games recently. By recently, I mean like the last 5 years, but... I guess, generally speaking, there's enough hate for basically almost any horror work you can think of outside of like what's considered absolute classics. Like, for instance, everyone will rave on about The Exorcist, which I think is overrated, but it's a good movie still. Let's see. 252... 8. And this goes off to 36. Good old earlier horror experiences. We're getting close to the equal middle number that we're aiming for. 40, and this will go down by 20. No, okay, I did not put an extra space in there, strangely enough. 320. My. Put this down to 28. Put this up to 304. I have not seen Splice in a very long time. Put this down to 16, and you're going to 288. Voila. You get to be 204, as this goes up to 216, and these get to go up to 72. And I did move it. Okay, yes, I did. I'm doing okay. Save my progress in case anything goes terribly, terribly wrong. Build up is part of the fun. I think there can be like, I have weird ideas about horror, if I'm going to be honest. Build up is important to a lot of stuff, but also I don't think it always needs it. I think to a jump scare, a good jump scare, which a lot of people be like, oh, jump scare is the cheapest way of horror, but I think it's more so there's just a good way to do it and a bad way to do a jump scare. I'm not entirely against them. I think that they can be executed well. But they are a release of tension most often than not. But I think that specifically requires good build-up, and there can be good build-up in other ways. But I think there's also ways to make horror in things that aren't built up. I guess, like, what's a good example of this? Because good build-up can lead to very good moments, and I agree with you there. But I also think that there's an underappreciated value. I guess this is... No, I guess that one was kind of built up too, but yeah. I mean, Silent Hill 1 does have the famous cat locker, and then followed by the body falling out jump scare, but yeah. Put this over to 20. 180. We're getting close to the equinox. And then put this into 40 and 40. 22. And now this gets to be 68, and put this over to 24 by 24. I think that the hate that the later Team Silent, not the non-Team Silent games get, is a little over-exaggerated. They're not as good as the original 4, but I think they're fine games by themselves, most of them. They've got issues. Like, my least favorite of the bunch is Homecoming, but I still think Homecoming's a pretty okay game with some pretty good elements to it, which was just mainly held back by certain design decisions. Using the same fucking slide and tile puzzle more than once. Making a broken combat system where the hit stun of the enemies is pretty bad, and then the knife is the sort of the OP weapon, boss can be stun locked by enemies. A story that's very, very predictable, with plot twists that are very foreseeable for coming from the very beginning of the game, so that the very surprising plot twists are good. Terrible endings. I'm going to continue, but yeah. What do you think of Ferrari 3 Remake? I think it is a good game that's a little bit brief, but it was missing out on stuff that people wanted from it. And as a fan of the original RE3, there's things I like a lot about it, and there's things I wish they had done. I feel like the game would have been better if they had one more sequence that had the Nemesis stalking you. There's also early concept art that they were originally going to have like a fourth Nemesis between Dog Nemi and Beginning Nemi. I think if the clock tower was a playable location, it had puzzles and stuff going on, and that Nemesis stalked you in that sequence, and then they replaced the doggy Nemesis fight, or at least one of them, with like a tentacle Nemesis, I feel like the game would have been better received. Because that would have extended the length a little bit, the clock tower being one of the people's main gripes, and it would have added Nemesis stalking you in more than one sequence of the game, a little bit more dynamically. And I think with just that one change, that probably would have raised a lot of people's impressions of the game, but in the end, it is what it is, and it's a good game that gets a little bit too much hate due to what it's missing from fans, but it's not as bad as they painted it out to be. Frankly, it's got a very good core mechanic, it's got very interesting enemies to face, and some pretty good level design in places. Let's see, 56 by 24. Now that I've got a better computer, I should do a more proper Let's Play of RE2 and RE3 at some point. But that's not now. For now, I'm working in December to get this game done. Put that there. Hip. Pretty much. Let's see. I'm almost fucking done with this part, so that's fun. The Corrin theme and Downpour is enjoyable enough. I do like Mary Elizabeth songs better overall, but I think that I get people's issue with it in a theory type of way, but I think the song itself is fine. Then again, I am probably a more avid Downpour defender than many. Downpour has issues. It has very obvious issues, but I think it does a lot of things very interestingly. Mainly when it comes to sort of the open design that it uses. And also, I thought that it had some interesting touches in a number of its environments that were actually surprisingly subtle. Let's see. 30. Check this stuff there. I kind of get how they didn't want to have Barry as a model quite yet, though. It's the same reason why I think they've been holding off with Wesker. Because then they have to find a person to be it, and then it's probably going to be it for everything else. I think they want to do a more proper choice than just as the helicopter pilot. But hey, it is what it is. Hey there, TL. I think, okay, I'm going to have a really odd discussion point. I think it's hard to say what a modern Silent Hill game would look like. This is actually a really good time to talk about it. I don't know if the current rumors about a Silent Hill game being revealed at Tokyo Game Show at the Game Awards are true. And the Game Awards are like in 9 days from now, so this is a good time to talk about this. I don't know if that specific rumor is true, and I've told everybody this. I know people have various thoughts if I'm telling the truth or not, but all I can say for myself is I'm telling as honest an opinion as I can here, and as what I'm sharing is stuff I know for a fact, but I understand that other people don't know that I know it for a fact, so whatever. I know that a new Silent Hill game started development at the very beginning of 2019, and it's a Japanese-made game, and the studio and all that, I don't know. I've heard from other people and talked about a lot of people about it. However, the reason why I'm bringing this up is I think it's really hard to judge how Konami would do a modern-day Silent Hill game. Part of that's because the non-Team Silent Hill games that came out during a time when horror was very confused as a genre. Because keep in mind that like all the Silent Hill games, like even the newest Silent Hill game, not including PT, which I'll talk about in a second, released between like 2008 to 2012 or so, or 2007 I should say, 2007 to 2012. 2007 to 2012 was a very confusing time for horror games in general. That was after Resident Evil 4 and after like the survival horror boom in the PS2 and PS1 eras, and the survival horror genre had died out a lot. And as a result, I think that what came out of the Silent Hill games was better than a lot of horror games at the time, but horror was greatly misunderstood by a lot of publishers and developers during that certain time period. There wasn't a lot of very notable horror games that came out in that period that stick up as like pure horror game type things. Of course, with the boom of the indie stuff in the last 10 years, there's become sort of a circle around to back to understanding of certain horror abilities, I guess, developers can do. Despite everything that happened with PT did still happen. I think that they won't forget that. And likewise, I'd be very curious, because I think a lot of people forget that the non-Team Silent Hill games came out during a period when horror in general was kind of in a weak area in gaming. Currently, I'd say we're in a much stronger area, and I'm be curious how a studio that has a better handle on it would handle it in this day and age. That's just a discussion to have for now. If a Silent Hill game gets revealed in a little more than a week from now, then great. If I had to personally say, I think it's a little bit too early for it to be revealed. I know it started dev at the very beginning of 2019, so it's been in dev for a little less than 2 years now. But hey, maybe it's further along than I think. Maybe they will reveal it. And if so, that'd save me a number of headaches. I'd be happy if it happened. But we'll see, I guess. Both those, I don't actually hate Survive like some people do, but ultimately it's based on if they get the right people behind it. I guess that way. They probably will still play me on Twitter though. Honestly, I'm not expecting that to change for better or worse. Did I put this in the right place? Yes, I did. Okay. $96 and $28. See you later, MP. I do have a lot of Let's Plays. And a lot more I still need to upload. And more I'd like to record. But hey, for now I'm working on a game. One of my little games I like to do. 12. Have a good day. Put this up to 38. Put that down to 72. Put this down to 96. And let's see, this can go up to 40. I'm trying to not like get sloppy and mistype something, but at the same time I'm getting excited. It's like, oh, I'm almost done with this part of it. Let me be free of my sins. The sins of deciding not to do this through a plugin and do it manually. 64 to 64. Yee. There's probably a little bit more spot work I need, but I'm also trying to work Girls Graveyard and good old Close Your Eyes. I actually used very few sprites earnestly, and I'm trying to sort of design a game similar to those type of things. So part of that is using creativity to overcome limitation. And okay, this was a 44 thing then. Only a couple clicks away from getting not to the exact dimensions I want, but getting to the... I want to call it equilibrium for some reason. That's not correct. Welcome to Aesthetic Gamer Classics. Put this to 12, and this should be just 16. And voila, I can move this to the right spot now. Look at that. Look, Mom, no legs, no hands. I'm losing my arms. Let's see what we got. That NW thing is going to keep on bugging me until I actually export the game. Come on, profile error, let me live. Do I just have to like relaunch the whole thing? Okay. Okay, what happened there? She was just going. Oh, okay, I see what okay. Okay, I see what happened. I see what went wrong. I calculated to go to 0, but in reality I should have kept it to 100. This will now just have a slight slide. Before I have her talk, I'm going to have her talk a little bit here, and then I'm going to do the rest of the zoom out before the scene changes, because that'll add a little bit more dynamicness to the cutscene anyways. Yep. I miscalculated a little bit, but I also like, should I fix it? I kind of want to be done with this, but at the same time, I probably should. Yeah, whatever. I'll just say it's a weird. No, I should. The things I do for art. Yeah. I'll forget if I come back later, and I'll keep making excuses for myself. Get things done in the moment. Okay, if I made... Would I be happy enough if I ended here? So I'm going to see where it pauses. I'm going to see if this is okay for me to do the cutscene stuff in. through eventing. Yeah, you know, that close-up is fine for what I'm about to say with this. It's not a plugin, actually. It's just fancy graphicing. There's no plugins used. Well, I mean, there's the general lighting plugin that does the actual lights, but what you're talking about, the effect, is literally just me doing images to make sparkles. I did it in GIMP, if you have to ask. Yes, she does. Her name is Cornelia. Which is spelled, which I'm going to type in the chat. Her name is Cornelia. E. I think that... Oh, I know what you're talking about. That's actually a sample from a friend of mine. So I did not play the guitars. I don't have an electric guitar in hand, but a friend of mine did it for me, so I was appreciative of. Alright, so yeah, this should be fine. It's from here the dialogue should start. Okay. I have a text document just for such an occasion to get my thought process started of how this should be all worded. Make this a longer pause at 75. Show text at the window at the bottom. The world is non-existent. My life and what I perceive around me. Are all in my head. In a language that I cannot understand. Alright, so this is also a good chance to see how big I can let the text boxes be with the current font I'm using, so let's see where this all fits in. And of course we're into that issue right now, of course. Yep. And W error, you're gonna be the woe of my existence during playtesting. The world is non-existent. My life and what I perceive around me are all in my head. It actually almost all fits, but a little bit's cut off. So I'll keep this in mind for this. I can go like a little bit past the line, but not much more. My life. So could it be all which? Because that wouldn't really take care of any of the characters. They'll zoom out a little bit more. I'll do something just for you, Em. The world is non-existent. My life, that which I... So that wouldn't really get rid of that. That'd still be like the same amount of characters. If I could be a little bit more. My life, that which I... That which I perceive around me is all in my head. I'm gonna say my eyes, not my life. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head. Will that get put in place in a language? In a written language that I cannot understand. Alright, and then I'm going to do something just for M. Towards the end here, I'm going to get a little bit closer to the zoom than I was before. You're going to go down to 40. You're going to go down to 25. You're going to go down to 5. You're going to go down to 90. You're going to go to 75. You're going to go down to 60. And you're going to go down to 45. And this should help your issue a little bit down. Now, I don't think I think the comma's still going to be cut out, though it barely fits, so I want it to fit in there, but yeah. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all. Now you can cut out a little bit more from my worded God. And I wanted to fit in that line, but I'm gonna have to just do a little bit here. Okay, I know how I should edit it. It's just I like the spacing there. Let's do it. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head. Written in a written language that I cannot understand. Now let's make sure that spacing looks okay. And once I've got that established, I can start writing off the rest and thinking about how the dialogue will work here in the opening. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. Okay. Now, also, I'm going to have to get ready something ahead of time to the point I'm actually going to briefly go into my image folder here. And then it should be in system, and I need to look at this for a moment. Not that. So I should do it with, the best one would probably be that. So let's see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That'd be 23, so this would be 24. But this will also be 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Alright, so 29 is what I'm going for. Just use this as an example so I can have it available briefly. Okay. Should I also change the... Let me do this as a quick test. Wait. 10. 10. Change window color. I guess the green needed to go up. So would that make it a little bit hard to read there? Would it be better as is? Maybe, actually no, the color is probably good for there. If I just do it a bit more like this, but not too green. Hopefully this ends up looking okay. And then put this back as default since I need to have that ready on hand. Okay, and also maybe change these to 15. Okay. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. You see, Doc? And I kind of know her personality, but also it's a little bit open. She's a little bit wacky. Let me take this up here. Okay. Yai. I kind of know what her personality is, but since this is the beginning dialogue, I'm trying to think how to make her speak here to convey a lot of information relatively quickly. You see, Doctor, a few months ago, I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurred. And that's, I am stupid and I always like to double check how I spell things, even though I'm like 90% sure I spell it correctly. That's how you spell blurred, yes, of course it is. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurred. I know how to follow this up, but how would I... And I might change this last sentence. You see, Doc? I guess we'd call him Doc. You see, Doc? I'll put it in all capitals, even though that's kind of a weird way to put it. A few months... I guess I'm going to say a few months back. A few months back, I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'm going to say blurry, not blurred. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my vision. Lose my vision entirely within the next year. And I'll be honest. But I wish that was all. Let me first see if this seems and feels right to myself so far. I might change up the dialogue more and add some more changes and pauses and stuff. Let's see how this plays out so far. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I can understand. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my vision. I'm going to completely lose my vision within the next year. Okay, I see the thing which I want to fix about that. I'm most likely going to completely lose my vision within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all... that was scaring me. Let me see. I wish that was all I was scared of. Okay, put that there. I'm also going to put this on to 95. Okay. Stretching out my arms. Back to this. Move this over there. Voila. Now to sit here and think. Don't want to change this up before I move the conversation forward. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I can understand. I'm gonna add one more dialogue before the Doc line, I think. I think that'll help me feel like the pacing's a bit better and also help me to explain one thing ahead of time instead of later. A language that I can understand. Now, maybe the transition is fine. I'm thinking about it. Makes sense. Am I there, Fox? I'm most likely going to completely lose my vision within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all. I wish that was all I was scared of. I've been seeing things. Hallucinations. Most would call them. And even though I'm 90% sure that's spelled correctly, let me look to make sure. Yep. Always doubt the spelling. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently, they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight, and it's worsening spelled correctly. I look at it and it looks right, but I'm like, is it right? And then it is right, yeah. Apparently they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight. A rare condition. known as... I want to make sure I spell it correctly, even though I'm pretty sure I do. And surprise, surprise, I knew how to spell it with a surprise. Charles Bennett syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically. But something between, or but let's see, but something about the but not somehow, maybe something. I guess I will put something, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and stupidly I want to make sure it's double check everything, even if you're 90% sure. Oh, I just want to make sure it's grammatically accurate. Between my eyeballs and my brain have made me see things that aren't there. Apparently, my case is the worst. Is the worst? No, not any doctor, because that's just the worst. My previous doctors had ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in... I'm probably going to change up this dialogue a lot. I usually rewrite scenes several times over, but I'm just kind of doing my first draft to get the feel of what I'm going for, and then I might fancy it up later. That's typically how I work. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in... I guess the word for it is cognitive... If I remember correctly... I guess that is considered, but... yeah. Specialize in... So I did remember correctly, in relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as EMDR. Maybe you'd be able to help me. I want to say that maybe you'd be able to help me. To be honest, though, alright, Fox, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight. Aberthology might be one way to word it there, but there was something which I was thinking of which I did remember the name for. That is typically this, but that might be a better word to use for this, though. You're correct. I do want to mention the EDR thing. It's a little important, but let's see. You specialize in and relatively new eye therapy. And that's supposed to be maybe, obviously, but that maybe you'd be able to help me. To be honest, though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. Hallucinations will go away when my vision does. Right? So, as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there? Alright, so I'm going to go over everything to make sure it feels right to me at the moment, even though I'm probably going to end up revising the scene multiple times as I do. Let's see where we're at. Okay. And then it's going to be the relaunch one, figured. Oh boy, love it, loving it. I'll be happy when I'm past this scene, just because I know it'll be fixed once it's exported again. It's just something which is during playtesting due to the NW achievement system. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head in a written language that I cannot understand. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my vision within the next year. I'm going to change vision to eyesight there. Lose my eyesight. And even though I'm pretty sure that's correct, double check. Yep. I'm most likely going to lose my eyesight within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all I was scared of. I've seen some things. I've been seeing things. Hallucinations is what we call them. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight, a rare condition. A rare condition known as Charles-Bonnet syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and my brain have made me see things that aren't there. Apparently my case is the worst case. I'm going to change the wording of that a little bit. Apparently my case is the worst that my previous doctors had ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in anthropology and relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as EDR therapy. And that completely cut out. And I forgot the you'd there. Now maybe you'd be able to help me. To be honest though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. Hallucinations will go away. Go away when my vision does, right? Hallucinations will go away when my vision does, right? So as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there? Hello there, Fireblight. Now I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna have to open up good old Audacity. Hello, Audacity. Now, because I'm embarrassed to do the voice in front of people, I'm going to mute my microphone, be able to hear the results, and I'm going to get this ready. Let me first get the line ready for a second, though. Yeah. RPG Maker MV uses JavaScript, for the record. Eventane and JavaScript. Eventane is just RPG Maker specific. JavaScript's a more general language. All right. Now to be privately on mute for a second.
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you?
All right. That seem okay for a line for you guys? Hip. I mean, what are we talking about?
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you? Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be.
So I'm gonna have to turn the music down just for this particular scene here. So, export as OGG. That isn't the correct thing. 01. I'll even make it 01 just to be on the safe side. Okay. And then change this volume to 65. And let's see how this transitions to, even though I also need to remember to go here and put a stop sound effect thing here for people that are skipping through. And I'm going to run into this issue again because that's fun. Yep. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. I'm happy that you do. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my eyesight within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all I was scared of. What line are we talking about specifically? Let me check. The world is non-existent as that which I perceive around me. You're saying that with which I... It could be, that would be one way of saying it, but that which I perceive is actually correct as well, so... It's a case where both are correct, it just depends how you want to say it, I guess. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all I was scared of. It's okay. I've been seeing things. Hallucinations, as most would call them. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently, they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight, a rare condition known as Charles-Bonnet syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and my brain have made me see things that aren't there. Apparently, my case is the worst that my previous doctors had ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in anthropology and relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as ED arm therapy. That maybe you would be able to help me. To be honest, though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. I think I might put the theirs to the next line just to be a little more organized. It's not that it cuts off, I just think it would look better there. There's no curing that. The hallucinations will go away when my vision does, right? So as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there?
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you?
Yep. And the dialogue looks okay there. It's readable. That's what's important. I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit from here before this line plays. I'm actually gonna keep it the same until this line. Yep. The fun of it. I've got a really stupid thing I'm gonna do, and it just popped up in my head. I want to do it. Yeah. Yeah. I guess I should have figured you'd be a bit sharp. Should have figured you'd be a sharper tool in the shed. So, these hallucinations of mine. Let me make sure I'm spelling hallucinations. As I said before, they're unheard of. It's typical of people suffering. Suffering should be more like this. I always forget if it's like 2 F's or 2 R's or 2 of both. I'm gonna double check. But it's 1 R. I always forget. Typical people suffering from Charles-Bonnet. Let me check something here. I guess that was 1T. I was just double checking that. Syndrome to see things not there. Like people in places they shouldn't be. Bugs in their food. And I guess the last example, which I'm going to say, which I know come from some things. Giant, impossibly huge, impossibly giant flowers. That sort of thing. But me... It's gonna be really stupid, but I have it in my head and I have to do it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this. And work from there. $98 by $98. $340. And the Y stuff is going to have to go extreme. The ultimate Y goal is 260, so I'm going to have to Y go tremendously fast. I'm going to go by like 20s, I think. So negative 40, whereas negative 45 before. Actually, then I should start from negative 20. And then the Y should just be 0, and this should be 96 by 96. Actually, I'm going to make these go a little bit faster. Actually, no, the 2s are correct, actually. $96. Negative 20. 94 by 94. Also needs to be positive, not negative. I almost forgot about that. Go to the positive side of things. Make this into 40. 92, 92. $60. 90 by 90. And that should be the last one of this case. 80. 88 by 88. 86. Over here by 86. 100. 84 by good old 84 and 120. $82 by good old 82. 140. 80 by 80. 160. 78 by 78, 180. I'm getting places. 76 by 76, 200. 74 by 74. 220. 72 by 72. 240. And I'm going to see where this sits in a second, see if this is good. If not, then I'm going to alter it a little bit more. 999. Okay. Let's see how this plays out. Just see if the position's correct before I continue. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my eyesight within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all I was scared of. I've been seeing things. Hallucinations, as most would call them. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently, they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight, a rare condition known as Charles-Bonnet syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and my brain have made me see things that aren't there. Apparently, my case is the worst that my previous doctors had ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in anthropology and relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as EDR therapy, that maybe you'd be able to help me. To be honest, though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. The hallucinations will go away when my vision does, right? So as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there?
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you?
Yeah, I guess I should have figured you'd be a sharper tool in the shed. So these hallucinations of mine, as I said before, they're unheard of. It's typical of people suffering from Charles-Bonnet syndrome to see things not there, like people in places they shouldn't be, bugs in their food, and possibly giant flowers, that sort of thing. I'm gonna do one brief thing just for my own stylings. But me, that centered itself a little bit wrong. Yeah, it needs a little bit more work to zoom out here fully. So I'm going to update the percentages that things are lost in, just so I can zoom out to the level which I want it to be. So this should be 97 by 97. This should be 94 by 94. This should be 91 by 91. Yeah, a lot more to get done, that's for certain. If I can find someone to voice Cornelia, that'd be great, but it's with a certain time frame, I'm not sure if I should look for somebody to voice them. Oh my. Do you think you'd be able to fit the character, Grayson? I mean, I'm willing to hear. I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking for with them, but something that seems fitting to them. So people could say, that's good voice acting, and fit the character nicely. I would, sure, at some point, at this very second, not at the moment. And also, it's Cat's birthday and Crimson's. I know you guys doing stuff for them, but another day I wouldn't mind hearing. I might ask around also, but I would like to hear you try. I feel like they could be added by being voiced. Yes, I do need female voice actors, and someone who wouldn't mind doing the lines for free because I don't have a lot of money, to be honest, which is a little bit like, eh. Someone that can do a female voice. and voice some things kind of relatively well. There's some emotions that might be... If it's not voiced, it's not voiced. It's whatever. I'm voicing, of course, the good old psychiatrist cough. No one else particularly have mentioned. Yeah. I wouldn't mind hearing the take either. At the moment, I should probably focus it more on this. Let's see how it zooms out too, though. Options. I feel like it's gonna probably pause. Yeah, it's usually when it starts on the weird resolution, that's a sign that it's gonna be a little bit finicky this time. The best way to contact me, by the way, is probably through Discord. I guess the easiest way to find me through Discord is to go through the general Discord, which I'll go fetch right now. Hello, Discord. Invite people. There's a more general server thing that we have, but I'll just take this basic invite for now. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my eyesight within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all I was scared of. I haven't seen things. Hallucinations, as most would call them. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently, there is something in my worsening eyesight, a rare condition known as Charles-Bonnet syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and my brain, that made me see things that aren't there. Apparently, my case is the worst that my previous doctors had ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in aprothobology and relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as ED or EMDR therapy, that maybe you'd be able to help me. To be honest, though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. Hallucinations will go away when my vision does, right? So as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there?
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you?
Yeah. I guess I should have figured you'd be a sharper tool in the shed. So these hallucinations of mine, as I said before, they're unheard of. It's typical of people suffering from Charles-Bonnet syndrome to see things not there, like people in places they shouldn't be, bugs in their food, and possibly giant flowers, that sort of thing. But me... I might make it a little bit more extreme just to fit in. What I was going for was by 260. I can probably speed along the process from the 75 mark here. And then make this into 71. I'm going to skip ahead in the next bit just to get to where it is appropriately. 61 by 61. 56, or yeah, 56 by 56. 53, or yeah, 52 by 52. 48 by 48. And this might be going a little bit too far, but I want to see where this kind of centers in on. So you guys are going to see me skip through the dialogue a lot in the second half of this cutscene, so yeah. Yep. Now let's skip through the text kind of rapidly.
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you?
The stop sound effect thing should have worked. Did I forget to put it there? Yes, I did. Stop sound effect. Put that there. Oh, it got pushed all the way down here. That's weird. For next time. There we go. That's actually precisely the position I was hoping for the picture to get to. So hip. I'm back. What did I miss? Just a few things. Right now, I'm just getting to the point of this. I can delete all this stuff down here. I'm not wearing a clown suit. I don't even own one. I still see myself wearing in goddamn clown clothes. I've never heard hallucinations that change how you visually see yourself, nor change how one sees the world as entirely as mine do. Visual hallucinations that change how you visually see yourself, nor change sees the world as entirely as mine do. I know you're there. For example, I know that you're there, Doc. I can hear you. My hallucinations are entirely visual and not auditory. And I think I misspelled yeah, well, sorry, there's the actual thing of this, but is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay. For example, I know you're there, Doc. I can hear you. My hallucinations are entirely visual, and not auditory. But I don't see you. It's like you're invisible to me. I see people as things they aren't. Objects. Sometimes some things that are there I don't see at all, and other things that aren't there I can't stop seeing. They're scarily persistent. They're scarily persistent as well. And I misspelled persistent. Okay, that's what I was checking. It was supposed to be with an E. Why am I? As well. For example, to me, my next door neighbor looks like a, yeah, I guess I could say it like this. I knew it. How would I word that? Looks like they're made entirely out of plants. And for me, they always let me change persistent to consistent. They're scarily consistent as well. And that was also with an E, I'm silly. Okay, Grace, I know your reference. Maybe they always look like that. Even ever since this started, I've never seen them as anything other than a giant plant. This might barely fit into the text, but let's see. So also allows me to see if the line from the oh, this is not going to work because it started in the little minimized version. But I need to see if this will also work with the other version, like with the host dialect skipping. Okay, so it's going to do that error every time thing. Okay. New game. I'm going to try and end up the cutscene pretty soon, except that we have to get to the next phase of where this is going to be going. Hopefully I'm explaining well enough for where we begin at. I put this to a weird resolution, but it works out, I guess. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my eyesight within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all I was scared of. I've been seeing things. Hallucinations, as most would call them. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently, they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight, a rare condition known as Charles-Bonnet syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and my brain had made me see things that aren't there. Apparently my case is the worst that my previous doctors have ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in anthropology and relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as EMDR therapy, that maybe you'd be able to help me. To be honest, though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. Hallucinations will go away when my vision does, right? So as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there?
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't.
Okay, so the dialogue skips now. Yeah, I guess I should have figured you'd be a sharper tool in the shed. So these hallucinations of mine. As I said before, they're unheard of. It's typical of people suffering from Charles Bonnet syndrome to see things not there, like people in places they shouldn't be, bugs in their food, and possibly giant flowers, that sort of thing. But me... why do I see myself as a clown? I know for a fact I'm not wearing a clown suit. I don't even own one. Hell, even when I'm naked in the shower, I see myself in goddamn clown clothes. I've never heard of visual hallucinations that change how you visually see yourself, nor change how one sees the world as entirely as mine do. For example, I know that you're there, Doc. I can hear you. My hallucinations are entirely visual, not auditory, but I don't see you. It's like you're invisible to me. I see people as things they aren't. Some things that are there I don't see at all, and other things that aren't there I can't stop seeing. They're scarily consistent as well. To me, my next door neighbor looks like they're made entirely out of plants, and for me, they always look like that. Ever since this started, I've never seen them as anything other than a giant plant. Alright. I'm gonna change that to exclamation point. Alright. Roll as it goes. There's more to the scene to do, but I'm thinking how to process it. I think the Doc interrupting here would be a good idea, so. I'm gonna do something kind of weird here. You guys didn't hear anything. Okay, I'm gonna take this from here. Voila. The eyesight? That's okay, that's pretty good. Welcome back, David. Right now, putting some stuff into place. We'll let this play for a second. So you guys are not going to be able to hear me for a second. I'm going to go back to record another line as the Doctor. A couple lines probably, but I'm going to start off with this one. I guess I should write it first, though. That makes sense. To write a line before you say it. Yeah, it's the Doctor. I don't know what you're trying to imply there, Champsties. Da 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 da. Thinking about this for a moment. Give me a moment. Finish the first line. Just getting it through, working it out as I do off with my things. Da 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 dee dee dee. Yep. I'm afraid it's my peak.
So let's talk about your... I see. So let's talk about your childhood.
Cornelia sees things, cool things, disturbing things, but she sees things that she knows aren't real.
I see. So let's talk about your childhood.
Da 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 da. ZZZ02. Progress that there. Give me a second. Gonna say the line now. Done with the line. Hip hip, roll as we go. Da 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 da.
Now.
Fade in. Actually, I can probably have a good effect if I do like a longer fade in thing.
Now.
Fade in.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you remember the time that you were trapped in the box?
Roll from there. Play sound effect. Hip. Yep. Volume's all good. Alright, let's see how this plays out in motion here. Sorry being a little bit quiet there, but just seeing how this plays out. You guys want me to read everything again, or you guys prefer I skip to the new part at the moment? Because I know I've read over this a few times. I just like to go over scenes several times, see how I feel about it as this conversation develops. Yep. I guess no opinions. Either is fine. I'll go over it one more time. I'm not read probably. Oh, this is the last time I read. Probably for the final time. I might read the new stuff, but yeah. The world is non-existent. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my eyesight within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that, but I wish that was all I was scared of. I've been seeing things. Hallucinations, as most would call them. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight, a rare condition known as Charles-Bonnet syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and my brain have made me see things that aren't there. Apparently my case is the worst that my previous doctors had ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in ophthalmology and a relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as EMDR therapy, that maybe you'd be able to help me. To be honest though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. The hallucinations will go away when my vision does, right? So as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there?
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you?
Yeah. I guess I should have figured you'd be a sharper tool in the shed. So these hallucinations of mine, as I said before, they're unheard of. It's typical of people suffering from Charles-Bonnet syndrome to see things not there, like people in places they shouldn't be, bugs in their food, and possibly giant flowers, that sort of thing. But me... Why do I see myself as a clown? I know for a fact I'm not wearing a clown suit. I don't even own one. Hell, even when I'm naked in the shower, I still see myself in goddamn clown clothes. I've never heard of visual hallucinations that change how you visually see yourself, nor change how one sees the world as entirely as mine do. For example, I know that you're there, Doc. I can hear you. My hallucinations are entirely visual and not auditory, but I don't see you. It's like you're invisible to me. I see people as things they aren't. Some things that are there I don't see at all, and other things that aren't there I can't stop seeing. They're scarily consistent as well. To me, my next door neighbor looks like they're made entirely out of plants, and for me, they always look like that. Ever since this started, I've never seen them as anything other than a giant plant.
I see. So let's talk about your childhood. Now, here's a question for you. Do you remember the time that you were trapped in the box?
Huh? I've never been trapped in a box before, Doc. Where's this coming from? Yee. Yeah, it's just the doctor. Now I do need to change one thing. As I am. And let me also listen to the line to make sure I'm in the right place.
Now, here's a question for you. Do you remember the time that you were trapped in the box?
Imagine if you just always saw yourself as a weird clown thing. Roll that there. And now the line to go through with here. Push that there. Let's see. I'm trying to think how to write this next line. The line here would be good as... Thinking about this for a second, because I'm also going to be voicing it just momentarily. Alright. Gonna do this line. Gonna go on mute again because I'm a little bit shy to do that voice publicly. It sounds better with effects in my opinion, but continuing. Voila. That is done. Move this back into place. Da, 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 da. Putting things through as I do. Da, 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 do. Okay.
No.
Cut this out at the start, then fade it in.
Nowhere that you need to know. So what did you tell your friends when you cut them out of your life? Did you tell them about the monsters?
Da 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 da. Gonna do one more thing, I decided.
Did you?
Da 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 da, and I export this here, right out there into OGG. Put this into ZZZ004. Alright. Put that there. And now take this, take that.
Nowhere that you need to know. So what did you tell your friends when you cut them out of your life? Did you tell them about the monsters?
Continuing there. MT, only my doctor. Right. Just putting things into place a bit ahead of time. What in the bloody hell are you even talking about? You're really my doctor, right? I think I know how I want this line to go. On to the next thing there. On to the next, to the next. Yep. Howdy how. Put this here. Fade in.
You can call me that if you'd like. So tell me, do you see me as your doctor?
Put that there.
Doctor?
Voila. I mean, things to roll with and go with.
You can call me that if you'd like. So tell me, do you see me as your doctor?
Roll is there. Yeah. God's sake, Grayson. Yep. $30 there. Fade out screen. Erase picture. Also, I can change the transparency. Change transparency off. Erase picture. Put that through that. Cornelia is going to be around 20 years old. Let's see. How she sees herself isn't how she actually is. She just sees herself as a clown. That's alright for both of you guys. I'm thinking right now of what settings I should do. I guess I do want to do the speed thing, which I can just do by going here, speed, Remind myself what this plugin's command is. It's like that basically. Not acceleration time, movement speed. Yeah, this is just simple enough. Plugin command. I'm gonna set it to 3.4 for the moment. 0. We'll get into that more later. Let's see. I guess it's time to design the office. I do actually need a specific type of carpet for this. There's a few sprites I need to move around anyways. So let's go to our sprite side. I'm also going to finally let us get off this song. I do need to eventually select the song for the next bit, but I won't do that yet fully. Yee. But I'm also going to put a carpet and move some sprites around. Good old tile sets. I'm going to put this into a 5. Open with GIMP. I also need to go into characters and change up some of these objects. 1x1 objects. I might have a few. Not 2x2 objects. These are mostly filled. 1x2 objects is not filled though. Open with GIMP. I'll start with this stuff, and then the more stuff I need, I'll do some more there. I can give you one, Grayson. I'll just copy and paste it into the chat. Because, I mean, you guys can see the dialogue all here, right here. There's a line. I'll give you a second one. I'm gonna give you 4 lines, just in some different tones to see. Is this enough character length? Yeah, that's fine. And I'll choose one from down here. The best way would be to send me a take on Discord. At the moment, I'm a little bit focused on designing the game. The Discord link I posted earlier, I'm #GameRocketDusk Golem in the server. Just contacting me via Discord's the best way. You can find me in the official Discord thing there. I will get that link again. I'll look at it more later, though. You can find me as the head of this one. Let's see. I'm on 8 medications, it works, but just message me. I'm #GameRocketDusk on there, so yeah. And I'll look more when I'm done with the stream. Now for sprite stuff, I'm gonna need a few more sprite stuff, but I'll start with this. My pulse 110 and race on these K-pins I'm taking, don't feel like they do in the trick. And fuck a football, it's too small. It's a good song. I need a 2 milligram stick. I barely go out in public, my girl, she don't want this. Put that there. Because my plug out in LA took me straight to Hell's Gates. I always end up losing my Vans. I need a benzo would have all my friends on. I'm tripping on that bullshit. I hope that they don't sprites. So tell me where I went wrong, that's why I'm writing this song. I'm hanging by a thread now, I'll tie a knot and hold I just woke up from a that needs to be 2x2. I need to make a new poster thing, I think. 144 by 192. Make it transparent. She told me, baby, please stop this. That's never been an option. Do you know what the fuck I've been through? I put some stuff down. Shake off the blues when I'm lonely and thinking about you. Shoulders, the world is getting colder. It's a good song. It's the game's credits song. So shh. All good. I appreciate it. Open the medicine bottle, I pop two and swallow. I just hope that by now you. I'll put the roses here, sure. So take it back and tell me you ain't mean a single thing. And then here, games, not your eyes, image, characters, posters, roses. So tell me where we're wrong, that's why I'm writing this song. I'm hanging by a thread now, I'll tie a knot and hold on. Now I also need the 2x2 stuff. I'll overwrite this, and I'll overwrite this. I found out I also need the 2x2 things, so get the 2x2 thing. Did I not finish filling that up? I guess I did not. Open with GIMP. Hey there, Alice. How are you doing? Alright, so show grid. Wait, is there something? No, there's still space here. Put these sprites into the right locations. I mean, you can try, but that's a little bit hard to say. There's not. This game doesn't actually have sexual themes strongly. I'm avoiding them kind of intentfully, but yeah. Fuck the football, it's too small. Sorry, it's not stuck in my head. Actually, I guess I could do the 2x2 thing here as well. It might be a good idea not to, just be on the safe side, because I know that you're a little bit young. Put that there. Over right here. Of course. Export this here. She told me, baby, please stop this. That's never been an option. Do you know what the fuck I've been through? And I also need to get the very tall thing. There's like one watch out for very, very tall sprites. With the, I guess 2x6 would be good. Again, there will be spoilers on the stream, so just kind of be prepared for that. So I'm saying that for no particular reason right now. Ignore the hanging man. My soul is shattered and broken. I still got some holes in my heart where you made sure it broke. I was even taller than that. I might make it a little bit smaller for this purpose, just because I don't think I'm going to need it to be this tall. For certain things, you need to be that tall, though. I guess I'm going to do it down here first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess I could do something like here. Yeah, well, it needs to disappear out of existence. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be good for another game later, but I'll make it shorter for this version. I'm on 8 medications, it works, but I hate it. It's slowly driving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That'll work for this. Okay. It's going by like 6 pixels high. It's like 384 pixels, I think. And now the couple things I needed here. I guess I could use this, but I'm gonna do it like this. Doing the trick. A flag of football, it's too small. A flag out when you called. I like the song. Shh. I feel like the carpet should be green in this scene for whatever reason, which I could just simply do it like this. I need a benzo would have all my friends gone. I'm tripping on that bullshit. Yep. It's part of the fun of it. Hey there, Chrissy. Thank you. I just woke up from a blackout. Who knows when I passed out? My phone dropped. I fucked up the screen. Somewhere inside. Alright, that should close off everything that opened from this. Yep. So now I'm going to make a psychiatrist office. After I go into here and update this. The psychiatrist office doesn't need to be that big. Not the whole thing like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think going like this would be good for that. Now for the walls. Thinking for a second. Nothing super good for the psychiatrist office. I'll do another one briefly. I'll do it the simple way. And the simple way is A4, just because you have to make one tile and sort of loop it most of the time. Open with, yep. Alright. I'll start off with just a single tile because I know what I'm generally doing here. I'll make it just kind of a gagey, tannish, purplish brown for a second, so... Sort of a weird tone, something like that might actually be good. I know what the funniest error is, and I can still find it. Give me, if you guys want, actually I shouldn't find it. Basically, in Red Haze alpha testing, this video still exists in a thread only I can see, which is Red Haze's alpha testing thread. There was a really bad bug with the mannequin, the dummies in Red Haze, if you played Red Haze before. The Red Haze mannequin was too smart for its own good. I had to dumb down the AI because it used to be that like almost no one could bypass it because it was too smart at playing the checkboard game they started playing with it. So I did a lot of things to dumb down its AI, but there was another bug because it used to be that it didn't deliver you to the game over. So when it got near to you, it would make this really loud sound that sounded like a car horn, and it got really bad and would sometimes crash the game because it was too loud and like it was like replaying the audio clip every split second, so it was getting ridiculous. It was pretty funny though, and it's part of the Red Haze experience during the beta testing. Help me, I'm feeling unhealthy. These demons don't want me. Yes, yes. I call him Dummy most of the time. Honk. There's a video of that bug still, but I'd have to go dig and find it again. And then just a simple thing, just because this wall's only going to be used here, really. I barely go out in public, my girl, she don't want this. My car crashed, I'm tripping again. Because my plug out in LA took me straight to Hell's Gates. I always end up losing my Vans. I need a benzo, have all my friends gone. I'm tripping on that bullshit. Okay. So tell me where I went wrong, that's why I'm writing this song. I'm hanging by. That's the way I put it. I just woke up from a blackout. Who knows when I passed out? My phone dropped, I fucked up the screen. Somewhere inside Laurel Canyon, I'm in traffic dancing. I know Allie in disbelief. She told me, baby, please stop this. That's never been an option. Do you know what the fuck I've been through? I use a chemical solution to shake off the blues when I'm lonely and thinking about you. I'm gonna put this wall up to 4. Hardest is really hard to say because I'm gonna pause and actually think about this. Hardest is really hard to say because I've done some pretty crazy stuff over the years, and some things took a while to get right. So, Pat, I'll look into that. Though there should be some good options there. The hardest thing, I guess the general answer would be figuring out how to do some specific things I wanted to do. Like, I tested some things I didn't know how to do at the time in Please Love My Computer Game, in Red Haze, even in like some of the unreleased projects I've done. There's some stuff which I've done which was pretty hard to figure out, but I eventually got. So, yeah.
Holes in my heart where you made sure it broke. Open the medicine bottle, I pop 2 and swallow. I just hope that by now you know.
Now I do know I need the chair here.
So take it back and tell me you ain't mean a single thing you said. I know this right here could really be the end. Been here 1,000 times, I know how
is it 3? Yeah, there it is.
I need a benzo, what have all
my friends gone. Did I even put doors in? Well, yes, I did. I remember I had like a door thing. Okay, good. I got confused for a second and concerned. Same as character. Tell me your sins, couch. Yep. Let's see. I don't feel comfortable getting back into that chair.
I'm on
Chair at the
medications, it works, but I hate it. It's slowly driving
I'm gonna double check to make sure I'm fucking spelling things correctly, because I always doubt myself with spelling. Sometimes for good reason, and other times like this for not good reason. Alright, then this is none. My pulse 110 and race on these K-pins I'm taking don't feel like they do in the trick. And fuck a football, it's too small and blacked out when you call. Let's see. To think things through. For the layout here, this should be 1x2 object I'm looking for. Not the locker. Did not put it here. I could have used it, but whatever, it's fine. This song.
I just woke up from a blackout. Who knows when I passed out? My phone dropped. I fucked up the screen. Somewhere inside Laurel Canyon.
I need to change the comments on these. I just realized a little bit late.
She told me, baby, please stop this.
It's a bookshelf.
You know what the fuck I've been through. I use a chemical solution to shake off the blues when I'm lonely and thinking about you.
I'm not really interested. I knew what he was talking about. So I'm going to temporarily put something here, which you guys are about to see me do an edit I forgot to do until now, but yeah, I know where I can find it.
So take it back and tell me you ain't mean a single
thing. Just was thinking for a second. I get here.
Been here 1,000 times, I know how this go. Cause baby, you were just a chapter to a book
I'll never need a benzo, a benzo. Yeah.
I hope that they don't move. So tell me where I went wrong. That's why
I'm in this song.
hanging by a thread now.
All good? I'm going to put something temporarily here, which isn't going to be here in the final, will be in the next room. It's just so I don't have to watch the opening every single time. Before I do some stuff. Not that. That should be fine. And if I remember, I need to remember how to do some basic commands. It's been a while since I fiddled with it. I want to open up Feast Your Eyes just for some reference because it's easier for me as opposed to trying to remember off the top of looking through the code again. Hello, Feast Your Eyes. I know what room to look at even. Normal living room. You've got a few things I need to see. This is like, yeah, flat. Got it. Go out in public. But I do need to change the light color. Because my plug out in LA took me straight to Hell's Gates. I always end up losing my Vans. I need a Benzo. So a Benzo or have all my friends gone. I'm tripping on that bullshit. I hope that they don't move. So tell me where I went wrong. That's why I'm writing this song. I'm hanging by a thread now. I was high and I ain't hold. I just woke up from a blackout. Who knows when I passed out. My phone dropped. I fucked up the screen. Put that there. Alright, so I'm gonna get here, it's gonna play the classic Doom sound that everybody fucking knows. Da 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 da. One note melody, and then it's gonna open up the save screen. Open up the save screen. The line in this room is gonna be completely fucked, but ignore that because I haven't set it yet. The camera's also gonna be completely fucked. Like literally, this is not currently set how I want it to be set. I guess I'll just fucking use one of the default stuff for another room. Yeah, this will work, I guess. So I'm doing this as a little bit of bullshit just to have this, but I need to set this more properly in a second. The line and everything's gonna be not what I want it to be. It's just what I'm starting with to get this off the road. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's going to be 3D. Because I like to do the 3D stuff. Now, where is that houseplant? Oh, I know you're there somewhere. Just a potted plant. So this room's not going to look right from the get-go. Also, I almost forgot to even go inside here. Erase picture. 30 frames. Transfer player. So they're facing down. And up here. This map is going to look really... Again, I'm sorry to keep on saying this, but this map's going to look really not right, but it's because I haven't set it to the correct stuff yet. Like, the lions can be really bizarre. And it's still mostly empty because I'm still fitting. I just want to get to that save point. I'm also going to read the scene fully as it is currently. Just to make sure I'm happy with it. And it's going to do that right now because of course it is. I can make an alteration there, TL. There's a dog barking outside. The world is non-existent. No, I can still make the change. My eyes, that which I perceive around me, is all in my head, in a written language that I cannot understand. You see, Doc, a few months back I began to lose my vision. I'd have episodes where everything would become blurry. I'd have to really strain my eyes to even see 3 feet in front of me. As you know, I'm most likely going to completely lose my eyesight within the next year. I'll be honest, Doc, I'm scared about that. But I wish that was all I was scared of. I've been seeing things. Hallucinations, as most would call them. The thing is, I know they're not real. Apparently, they're a symptom of my worsening eyesight, a rare condition known as Charles-Bonnet syndrome. There's nothing wrong with me psychologically, but something about the connection between my eyeballs and my brain have made me see things that weren't there. Apparently, my case is the worst that my previous doctors had ever seen. My view of reality is completely warped. That's why they forwarded me to you, Doc. They say you specialize in anthropology and relatively new forms of eye therapy, such as EMDR therapy, that maybe be able to help me. To be honest, though, I don't have much hope. I'm losing my eyesight regardless in a few months from now. There's no curing that. Hallucinations will go away when my vision does, right? So as long as I know they're not real, there's not really a problem, is there?
Maybe. But if there wasn't a problem, you wouldn't be here, now would you?
Yeah. I guess I should have figured you'd be a sharper tool in the shed. So these hallucinations of mine, as I said before, they're unheard of. It's typical of people suffering from Charles-Bonnet syndrome to see things not there, like people in places they shouldn't be, bugs in their food, and possibly giant flowers, that sort of thing. But me... Why do I see myself as a clown? I know for a fact I'm not wearing a clown suit. I don't even own one. Hell, even when I'm naked in the shower, I still see myself in goddamn clown clothes. I've never heard of visual hallucinations that change how you visually see yourself, nor change how one sees the world as entirely as mine do. For example, I know you're there, Doc. I can hear you. My hallucinations are entirely visual, not auditory. But I don't see you. It's like you're invisible to me. I see people as things they aren't. Some things that are there I don't see at all, and other things that aren't there I can't stop seeing. They're scarily consistent as well. To me, my next door neighbor looks like they are made entirely out of plants, and for me, they always look like that. Ever since this started, I've never seen them as anything other than a giant plant.
I see. So let's talk about your childhood. Now, here's a question for you. Do you remember the time that you were trapped in the box?
Huh? I've never been trapped in a box before, Doc. Where's this coming from?
Nowhere that I see.
Oh.
So let's talk about your childhood. Friends when you cut them out of your life. Did you tell them about the monsters?
So since I haven't played tested the opening, the full version, I didn't. That's a bug. It's not supposed to happen. I see.
I see.
So get rid of that. And replay the line.
Nowhere that you need to know. So what did you tell your friends when you cut them out of your life? Did you tell them about the monsters? Now, here's a question for you.
What in the play are you talking about?
Time that you were trapped in the box.
Why is always looping here? I must have accidentally put some things there. Yep, there that is. That was a little bit weird, but yeah. What in the bloody hell are you even talking about? You're really my doctor, right?
You can call me that if you'd like. So tell me, do you see me as your doctor?
I'm going to go now. I might put a sound there as well. The lighting is completely fucked up, as I said. But I will put this mainly to get to the save point. Also, I need to make it so you can't fucking... Yeah, so I need to put these in active stuff. Stuff to fix. It's a very dark office at the moment. It's not the line I'm going to settle on here. But yeah, justified plant. I need to press action. Or it's not working as intended. That works out too. So there's a few things I need to fix about that scene. But hey, it's a start. Now I'm going to skip through the scene. Oh, this is supposed to be same as characters, but I need to put it below characters. Why was I able to clip through a day? Okay then. Put it below the characters, direction fix. These need to be the same as the characters. Okay. And I think I might change the music for it. The line looks a little bit better in this scene than I was expecting for what this scene is, even though I need to change some things about. But yeah, construction worker hell. Also, I think my spriting has gotten a little bit better for good old Cornelia here. But yeah, also, I purposefully have not said Cornelia's name yet, for the record, because I know you guys are like, oh, but I didn't say the name, but it'll come up a little bit later. Just there's a lot of information to take out on that next scene, so yeah. Let's see. Put this through. That should also, this has to be player touch, not just that. And I'm thinking a little bit for a second. I'm thinking about what else I might want to change up about the scene before I load up again, just to get to the save point, but I should probably just get to the save point. Okay. Don't overthink it, just get to the save point. So I'm not watching the opening every single time. Please skip through dialogue.
Mate. Now, nowhere that you need to know. You can call me that if you'd like. So tell me, do you see me as your doctor?
So I need to fix this up just a little bit in the last scene because I forgot to put a stop audio thing there. I also think I'm going to make the audio or the music fade out a little bit later than I have done previously. Stop audio, put that there. Or is she really smiling? Is that just how she sees herself? And now, I don't feel comfortable getting back into the chair at the moment. Yep. Also, welcome to this different save setup. How do you guys like it? I am also going to change the name of where we are at the moment, but... Yep. Things as we roll. I'm gonna be jealous, I guess that's a good way to put it. Fancy. Alright. There's that. Sprite looks fine to me. I'll put this more on loop. I'm going to start with this song from the beginning, and yeah, horizontal. It's one of the default options, but I thought that'll work better for this particular project. And let me think.
I'm on 8 medications, it works, but I hate it. It's slow.
Munch, munch, crunch, crunch. This isn't actually where the save point's going to be officially, so... Outside psychiatrist office hall. Yep. Back through here. Crunch, 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 crunch. I'll put this in here because I'm going to use this eventually and put some other stuff here for the moment. I guess I'll see each murder I need to do some things. I think if I kept this open. I need some things for table type setups. Though actually that works better with A3, so I guess I should open that up. Your eyes, image, tile set, A3, open with you. Munch, munch, book crunch. The best way for me at the moment would be to take this and change the color.
feel the weight on my shoulders, the world is getting colder. My brain hurt, I'm
That's correct. That is correct. Okay.
but it's all
Nom
good.
nom nom
I
nom.
expect that. Who knows where my head's at? My daddy said just play the game.
Color. Hue
Hue
saturation.
some holes in my heart where you made sure it broke. Open the medicine bottle, I pop two and swallow. I just hope that by now you know. So take it back and tell me you ain't mean a single thing you said. I know, this right here could really be the end. Been here 1,000 times, I know how this go. Cause baby, you were just a chapter to a book I'll never read. I need a benzo.
I guess that's good there.
I'm tripping on that bullshit. I hope that they don't move. So tell me where I went wrong, that's why I'm writing.
And that'll be what I need this for.
Now I'll tie a knot and hold on.
Put this into here. A3 needs to update up here. Yes, it does. Put this in the 3 spaces here. I need to get the lantern. I hope you sleep well, TL. I will have a good nom. I also have the string as well. That's all. Thank you. So get some good rest there, TL. Let's say lantern. Lamp. I might move this out of the way, and I believe I might have put this in the B thing. Alright. And now to vaguely remind myself of feast your eye sources. Don't you? I might take these as like a reference, but I will have to change some settings about it. The glow is good, but the shape and stuff isn't good. Not this. Not the wire rotation stuff. If I need Z, I'll do Z. For the lamp thing, that's what I want to try. Makes sense. Also, I'm going to start off on top of the table, but hopefully this works out fine with my developer cheats. File 1. I might have put that up too high. I forgot to put this stuff together. Okay. We know where to go. Don't you? Let's see where I put it now. Still not quite correct, but closer. Let's see. That's a little bit too low now. Finding the precise table height. There we go, that's more what I wanted to go for. So the player will start off spawned right here. They can read this if they want to. They should be facing this way. And then they get going. And even though I said the line wasn't good, I'm kind of digging this line just a little bit. Just ever so slightly. Voila, I do need to do more with this room. And maybe I should get rid of this light, but I kind of like what the atmosphere that light brings, if that makes any sense. Apparently can't stay on top of tables, so I'm just going to go over this way. Say you know. Waiting for You know where to go, don't you? I remember how put fucking or like this down. I'm gonna have to put descriptions to some of this stuff in a second, but I'm gonna start with just this. I have like a door thing that's labeled correctly. Doors and lights. This is the appropriate door for this place, and I need to remember, again, using Feast Your Eyes as my cheat sheet, how to put the door stuff there appropriately. If I remember, put this through, and below characters. And I'll mess with the rest of that in a little bit. There's more things to do here. The lamp brightens up the room just enough to make the whole room visible, but dim enough that it still feels like a secretive, secluded place. Oh my. Howdy. Not gonna do it in the actual voice though. Just a pot plant. It's a bit nice, I suppose. Then put this here, same character. There's a clipboard here with notes on it. Read it. Read. Don't, as I do. But I'm not going to write down the clipboard yet. I want to get some more stuff done. I just want to get that sort of set up correctly there. Let's see. Other small things just to spruce the place up a bit. I do have, you know what? I know what I'm going to put here. So there's going to be some kind of gruesome stuff that is in very low detail here for a second. Just ignore that for a bit. I guess the one I'm going to focus on here, this would be fine. And now for a little bit of a reminder here of how this should work out. So I'll put it on the top line. I'll take some inspiration from this one. Alright, David, I hope you have a good time out there. Fence scale. Below characters. It's a diagram. But I can't make heads or tails of it. I'll say it like that for the moment. And then this stuff should be here as well, except get rid of the diagram. Below, that stuff is okay to say this on. How is this room currently looking? That's the question. Continue there. Because we start off floating on top of that. So we're going to start off with this view first. We got to the diagram. Oh, this isn't, it's supposed to be see-through, but it's not! Time to make that alteration. Direction fix. It should be below the characters, but then why is it like this? I will put it through here just to be safe, but why was that getting in the way? Is it because it's floating? Except the through thing should work with that, so maybe, hopefully, it's fine. Through. Hopefully it works out okay. I also need to choose the song for this office at the moment. It's a diagram, but I can't make heads or tails of it. And it'll also observe this. I could have done this conditionally. I'll do it conditionally if the player's facing up, sure. I'll put in like the 2 seconds of effort it does to do that. Conditionally, if the player is facing up, they'll say this line. The only issue with this in the 3D space in 8 directions is that they have to be definitively facing up, but I think most players will intuitively understand that, so... Okay. Now, this office doesn't need to be that detailed, especially since I'm trying to go for sort of a minimalism style like Close Your Eyes and Ghost Graveyard had, but still I like to make it a little bit nice. This is the first room, so... To the cause. I like this song too. Let's briefly go through things and remember a few possibilities. Cabinet, no. I'm not gonna put a chair here, actually. Let's see. Safe, toilet. Hives, this, that, polywhack. Nah. That could work here, but I'm not gonna do it here, at least. I'm not even sure this room really needs too much more, and I was thinking that to myself. But hey, I'll look just to make sure there's nothing else where I'm like, I need that here. I'm forgetting this. To the cause and all the lies. It's a good song. Coat rack. What? Would there be a coat rack in this room? Oh my. I'm happy I enjoyed Close Your Eyes. Yeah. Different types of good old therapists out there. I guess a little carpet might be something. Like towards the door, I suppose, is where I would be. Out from there. They can have a lot of things, but I kind of want to make it barren just to set the right expectations, because Close Your Eyes has a lot of empty negative space. This is gonna have a lot of that too, so yeah, just starting here. Now I do need to choose the song for this place. Alright, the coat rack wasn't part of the sprites I assigned for this, but I know where to find them. There's a coat rack and it was used for Feast Your Eyes, which is why Grayson suggested it, but I didn't actually have it here. Alright, coat rack, let me go get it. Coat rack, where are you on the Feast Your Eyes side of life? I know it's around here, somewhere. I'll be able to locate it in no time, just gotta look and locate wherever I put the coat rack. There's where I put the coat rack. What a good coat rack. Put that into the characters folder. Coat rack. I mean, it'll fit. It probably will. I'll put it right on over here. because the player can't see the walls incredibly well, actually. But I mean, they can't see them. But yeah. Direction fix. Go into coat rack. It's an empty coat rack. You know what? I am going to do something else about this room now. I'm sort of looking at it and thinking about it. Because I'm going to move the door over here is what I'm going to do. I've decided. I want to rearrange the room a little bit. It won't be completely centered, the carpet, because it can't be. But I'll work my best with it. Be the nicest gosh darn carpet you've ever seen. It's an empty coat rack. Coat rack with a coat on it. Unsurprisingly. Surprising. I think I spelled that correctly, but again, being doubting me. Yep. And I'll put one over here just for the good old road. One of my good old famous coat racks. I'll put one of the empty ones that's in like the 1x2 objects. I didn't leave anything. Leave any. Alright, let's get rid of the only facing up. Alright. We want coat racks. That's every coat rack. That's the spirit. That's what you wanted, right? Coat racks? Let's say. Alright, let's see how this is looking. Now when the player first loads in, it looks like this. I think I should lower those 2 coat racks that are by the door. I think one of them needs to be more like 0.5 as opposed to as high as I currently have them. I could even still bear to lower them more than I have. Alright. Time to do it. Z can just be 0. I might even put it into the negative, so that still looks fucking too high. Think that's good for the coat racks. I think I should move them. I think that might be good. Although I need to lower this one, the one that's floating in against the wall. Ignore the coat rack there. Ha 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 ha. There we go. Okay, so when the player loads in, this is what they're gonna see as the first map in the game. And then they can figure stuff out and move stuff around and hip hip hooray. I need to make that physical objects. Currently I can work through it. Or walk through it. Get rid of that. Yep. Coat racks for every occasion. Hey, you never know when you have a good old group therapy session. Okay. I don't even mind the empty space in this corner. It kind of makes sense even. So for the first basic room in the game, how's it seem to you folks? Seem okay? I need to finish a few details like what's written on this clipboard, for example. But everyone's chilling with it. Everyone's like, yes, Ryan, that is in fact a coat rack. And I guess a small therapist room for us to start off in. Just to get the basic feel. Well, la da da dee da 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 dee dee da, into the shadows I go. Yeah, I might as well. He likes to read. The lamp brightens up the room just enough to make the whole room visible. I'm going to say the whole place just to make the room not as repetitive in that sentence. Brightens up the room just enough to make the whole place visible. The whole place visible, but dim enough that still feels like a secret. Still feels like a secretive, secluded place. I didn't leave anything here. I need to fix that commentary. It's a diagram. What is wrong with you folks with the sprites on it? Oh, you don't say anything on you. So you need to say this. And what's wrong with you? Direction? Oh, it's because you're same as characters. You need to be below as characters. Okay. Now I know, which actually reminds me I need to make sure this is below as characters. Okay, that's good. And now let's make sure that's all working as intended. Grayson, I know you're here and I have a question. When are you guys planning to start watching the Alien movies? I might join you today. I'll still be working as I do this, but I might work a little bit as we're watching the movies, and then yeah. I co-wreck the Conan, surprisingly. You guys might have already started. Yes. Did you guys already start watching the Alien movies? Because I know it's Kat's birthday, and they asked me if I wanted to watch the Alien films with them. Maybe you guys have already gotten started, but I wouldn't mind. Oh well, I might join them. I'm thinking I might work and watch that as I work. Because I'm almost getting to a point where I'm going to probably get into a groove and not speak much and just make rooms. Because Kat told me? Hello, Heather Mason. Hopefully you're doing fine after what happened with your father. I need to write the clipboard there, then yeah. Just a pot plant. It's a bit nice, I suppose. I might add some stuff to the bookshelves if I'm feeling like it. I do need to add something over here, and I'm going to make the hallway as the next thing I'm putting together, so. Rolls as things will go. Oh. Yeah, okay. Set up there. It's a friend's birthday, and they were going to watch the Alien movies today. Alright, so we've been streaming for about 4 hours. Tomorrow I will be streaming again. I don't know if I'll stream. I'll probably stream longer. I am going to continue. I'm a little confused, but I got the spirit. I may. Yeah, so I'm going to get more work done. Probably when you guys tune in tomorrow, I'll have like a couple more maps done, and I'll have like the clipboard written down. I might have revised the opening a little bit. We're not going to be streaming every single day. But I'm going to be streaming quite a few of the days. I've got nothing huge going on at the moment. But my goal is to get this project done by the 18th or 20th. I'm still going to be working past this, but I'm probably going to get into my groove of where I just kind of design and watch things at the same time. The streams will be kind of check-ins. And also when I want to work more strictly, I just like at the start there. Welcome from the Philippines. Did you know that the artist who I work the most closely with, who is Rinks, is from the Philippines as well? Though she moved from the Philippines and went to college in the U.S. And then she met her husband in the U.S. And then they got married and they currently live in Japan. So, yeah. Is what it is. Anyways. That's just what I think of when I think of the Philippines. So I guess the last thing I'm gonna do is I need to choose. Actually, I could do that on my own. I'll choose the fucking songs. That's just gonna be me cycling through music. So we'll be streaming tomorrow, maybe about the same length or maybe longer, and I'll probably be further in development when you guys check in because I'm gonna continue working. Yeah, and then I'll show the progress I've made tomorrow, and then we'll make more progress as things go. Hopefully you guys are enjoying so far. There'll be several of these streams going on through the next 3 weeks. My goal, I'm hoping to get done by the 18th, but realistically, I suspect I'm probably going to get done by like the 22nd or so. Hopefully not closer to Christmas. We'll find out. I'm also going to take this screenshot here because there's a screenshot win opportunity at the moment. Screenshot. I need to get 5 screenshots, then I can publish the store page. Anyways, all the same. Yeah. Also, to you, Tricky Panda, if you want to try to Edition, I can copy and paste the lines. Did you get the lines I sent to Grayson here in the chat earlier? Or would you prefer if I just copy and paste them and see them there? Just message me through Discord, and I'll be able to send them your way. Or I can just, yeah. And you got it, Grayson. All right. And I'll see how it goes. I might ask some others just so I have a few options, but got it. All right. For now, I shall bid adieu to all of you. We will be streaming tomorrow. Continue development as it goes. I hope you guys are having a wonderful beginning to your December. It's Kat's birthday and Crimson's birthday today. They're 2 friends of mine. And it's going to be my sister's birthday in 5 days, so there's a lot of birthdays in this week. But I'll be here, and for now, adieu. Yeah, slide in. Adieu to all of you. Until tomorrow, folks. Bye-bye.